assistance in capturing Abbegate mastermind Sharifullah, Pakistan's significance for U.S. national security in battling global terrorist outfits has been underscored by the U.S. military leadership, more recently by Commander CENTCOM General Kurilla. Leadership exchanges are on the rise, as evidenced by May 2025 ceasefire between India and Pakistan. The U.S. has emerged as a credible arbiter of peace and stability in South Asia. In rebooting our bilateral relationship for mutual benefit and win-win outcomes, our two sides have moved beyond a transactional lens. We seek a relationship grounded not in dependency, but in mutual benefit, not in blame, but in dialogue, not in narrow counterism checklist, but in broad-based cooperation. We are working together to constructively address each other's concerns and advance our mutual trust and interest. Our dialogue spans security, energy, technology, industry, IT, AI, counterterrorism, and regional peace. Our economic ties are ascendant. We are working constructively to finalize a trade deal soon. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, we value our economic partnership with the United States. We see trade, not just aid, as the future. The United States is the largest single country destination for Pakistani exports. Our cost-effective and quality textiles and apparel ensure keeping costs low for the households. This industry is also an example of a great partnership. Not many are aware that Pakistan is the second largest buyer of U.S. cotton, contributing to the well-being of U.S. farmers. Pakistan seeks better market in the U.S. On our part, we are working towards granting greater market access to the U.S. products in the large Pakistani market. Ladies and gentlemen, talks in this regard are underway. These include discussions on textiles, digital trade, and agriculture. We hope to conclude a mutually beneficial trade agreement at the earliest, hopefully in days, not in weeks. Pakistan has competitive advantage in IT and is blessed with minerals and mining resources, including rare earth material. We are also creating a blockchain and crypto ecosystem. We welcome U.S. investments, especially in energy, mining, technology, and startups. Eventually, a free trade agreement could be a game changer to boost our economic partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now dilate on the situation in our region, a region which, like others, cannot prosper if conflict persists. On Tuesday this week, I presided over a UN Security Council session on strengthening peace and security through multilateralism and the peaceful settlement of disputes. Incidentally, you will be happy to note that after quite some time, the Security Council found a consensus resolution on the topic, which has been very rare in the current environments in the last 2 years. Jammu and Kashmir remains a close dispute between Pakistan and India. At the heart of this dispute lies adherence to the UN Security Council resolutions, reaffirming the right of self-determination to the Kashmiri people. India has illegally usurped this right for 7 decades and continues with this tyrannical occupation. India's unilateral actions in August 2019 were illegal and unilateral. Its actions to change demographics of this disputed region in contravention of the international law, including the Fourth Geneva Convention, are surely not acceptable to anyone who believes in justice, security, and peace. India uses the terrorism bogey to mislead the world and malign Pakistan. This is what happened on 22nd of April this year, when India instantaneously blamed Pakistan for the Pahalgam incident. The India-Pakistan standoff this May, sparked by a familiar pattern of escalation and mutual distrust, brought the region dangerously close to the brink. Once again, crisis diplomacy, back-channel communications, international engagement, particularly from the United States and friendly countries, played a critical role for facilitating the ceasefire between India and Pakistan. We are committed to sustaining it. Unlike our neighbor and its leadership, you won't have heard any political rhetoric saying that this is a temporary, we are going to roll out the real one. No, we believe in peace, and we never escalated as a first mover. We only act both in the skies and on the ground in self-defense as per the Charter, Article 51 of the UN Charter. But we cannot and we must not continue to rely on luck and last-time interventions. What we need is a sustainable architecture of peace in South Asia, an architecture in which the United States as a global power, an historic partner to both nations, can play a constructive and stabilizing role. Pakistan does not seek conflict with any of its neighbors. Our vision is not rooted in rivalry, but in regional connectivity. And you've just seen that just on 17th of July, after efforts of 2 years, I visited Kabul, where Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan signed a railway connectivity project known as Trans-Afghan Railway. Our vision is not rooted, as I said, in rivalry, but in regional connectivity, in trade corridors, energy partnerships, climate resilience, and cultural exchange. Regional peace, however, will remain elusive until all parties, including India, commit to a dialogue and dispute resolution in good faith and under international norms. The new normal which India tried to establish has been buried between 7th and 10th of May. The claim of supremacy, the claim of hegemony, the claim of net security provider are just gone. In this regard, I want to underscore the importance of credible, continued US engagement. This includes strategic dialogue, but also military-to-military coordination, counter-terrorism cooperation, and importantly, clear-eyed diplomacy that recognizes both the risks of disengagement and the potential of balanced involvement. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, the relationship between the United States and China is the most consequential in the 21st century. Cooperation between the two could help lift millions out of poverty and augur well for global development and prosperity. Conflict, on the other hand, would prove disastrous for the entire world. China is our strategic partner and the United States is our long-standing friend. In the past, we have played the role of a bridge between the two great nations, and we stand ready to do the same if called upon. Our foreign policy is not zero-sum game. We hope to see friendly relations between the US and China and do not wish to embroil in bloc politics. A stable Afghanistan is in our vital interest. We want an Afghanistan that is peaceful, inclusive, and sovereign. However, the threat of terrorism from Afghan soil is real and the biggest threat to Pakistan's security. While on 19th of April this year, after 4 years of almost stalemate between the two countries, I visited for a day. We discussed politics, we discussed trade, we discussed economy, we discussed refugees, we discussed everything under the sun. And the decisions were made public instantly after the meeting, and both nations heard live. You'll be glad to know, whatever I committed 19th of April, everything has been implemented so far. That led to the confidence, and that led to the signing of the Trans-Afghan Railway project on 17th of July, when I visited for 4 hours Kabul, just for this purpose. We continue to urge interim Afghan government to fulfill their anti-terror commitments. We have no ask. We want to fully cooperate with a neighbor We have centuries-old relationship. We have almost same culture. So the only thing is that their soil should not be allowed against any country, but to talk of Pakistan, for terrorist activities. This is the only ask. We are deeply concerned, by the way, by the violence in Gaza with loss of over 58,000 innocent lives, predominantly women and children. And now we are watching, last few days, the hunger issue. We call for an immediate ceasefire, durable peace, and rebuilding of Gaza. A two-state solution is the only path to lasting peace. Pakistan declared foreign policy for decades, a two-state solution with Palestine having its own homeland, a contiguous, secure, stable, sovereign country for the Palestinians, with Al-Quds al-Sharif, its capital, and pre-1967, its borders. On Iran, Pakistan calls for de-escalation dialogue. We supported regional diplomacy and we tried to prevent the enlargement of what we saw over 12 days war between Israel and Iran. We'll continue to support and encourage Iran for dialogue and diplomacy. And I believe, again, as a neighbor, we are performing this as a duty, not as an obligation. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I will conclude by underscoring that Pakistan seeks peace with dignity. We seek partnerships grounded in mutual trust and respect. And we seek progress for our people, for our region, and for the entire world. I thank you for your time, your patience hearing, and your anticipated questions, obviously. I'm cautioned already. And your enduring commitment to future where the US-Pakistan partnership can rise above history and help shape it. I thank you all.
Thank you. Good to see you.
My new partner.
Thank you. Thanks for everyone. Let's get right down to it. I enjoyed your remarks. They were interesting. You talked about Pakistan and India being on the brink. Obviously, the whole world was sort of watching with great trepidation. Very scary few days. Is there a lesson to be drawn about how that conflict erupted, how it was diffused, and what can Pakistan do now going forward to try to prevent another episode like that?
Well, I think first of all we have to start with mutual trust and stop the blame game. We saw in Pulwama, it started with blame game. A great friend India reached out to the international capitals, sold his narrative, and convinced them it was Pakistan. And till date, there is no proof which has been established that Pakistan was involved in Pulwama incident. But what did we see at the end? The end was the decades-old United Nations Security Council resolution binned, the constitutionally accepted the status of Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370, removed and deleted from the Constitution, and declaring the disputed territory of Jammu and Kashmir, waiting for the right of exercising the right of self-determination, just all of a sudden has union territories. Now this cannot. You see, there has to be honesty of purpose. We both have to work. So we are ready to work for the terrorism. Against the terrorism, we should joint efforts, all the countries, and we are the biggest victim. We have fought the world war against terrorism. We were the front line, fighters. We lost 80,000 lives. We had 152 billion of US dollars losses, economic losses, minimum. Our total debt and liabilities external is 130 billion. So nobody should tell us that we are not serious in And we eradicated terrorism. 2013 to 2017, if you see the data, 2012 close and 2017, it was our political party's government in Pakistan. Prime Minister was Mr. Nawaz Sharif. I was Finance Minister of Pakistan. I was financing all that, hundreds of billions. The US leadership at that time used to say that if General Musharraf couldn't do this great job, couldn't have the courage, Benazir Bhutto couldn't start it, if this government of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif does the job, it would be a great service to the world history. And we did it. We delivered. Anyway, there was some subsequent mistakes. Obviously, I don't want to go into detailed, discussion because we have limited time. But then, the next government opened up the entire borders. 35 to 40,000 TTP people came back. 100 hardened criminals were released by that government. And there was resurrection of terrorism in Pakistan. But we are still committed to just eradicate this menace from our soil, inshallah, God willing.
Talk about the conflict with India. There was a point where there was dialogue, obviously. More than a decade ago, there were actually genuine discussions, all sorts of confidence building and exchanges. And then, of course, that receded. Do you see that as a possibility again? And are there steps, concrete steps Pakistan could take to bring back that dialogue that existed before?
Well, it takes two to tango. We can't unilaterally do it. We are willing. 10th of May, when our operation in defense of our own, sovereignty, protection of sovereignty and territorial integrity ended, it was around 7:45 a.m. Pakistan time. I had a call from Secretary Rubio around between 8:15 and 8:20. India is ready to cease fire. Are you ready? I said, we never wanted to start. We never wanted to start. If we had anything to do, we would not have offered within 3 days an independent international investigation of Pahalgam incidents, number one. Number two, down the line, in the process, we proved that the statements by India, they're still on the website of their Foreign Office statement, that Pakistan attacked 15 military installations. We had attacked none at that time. So you see and Secretary Rubio told me that I'm going to confirm to Jaishankar your acceptance of the ceasefire, and there will be very soon a dialogue between the two at a neutral place. We are waiting for that. So we are ready, obviously, but the dialogue has to be composite dialogue that will be meaningful. We will discuss counterterrorism, people will discuss economy, we'll discuss trade, we'll discuss Jammu and Kashmir. We have to have the whole spectrum of subjects to be discussed on this. So we are ready.
You talked about terrorism, you talked about Pakistan's efforts to counter terrorism in your own territory, that you've suffered your own losses among your own citizens. This has designated, as you know, a number of groups as terrorist organizations in Pakistan, and most recently this resistance front that initially took the responsibility for this attack in Kashmir and later withdrew that responsibility. What would you say to the U.S. in terms of how Pakistan is trying to shut down some of these designated groups? Is the government trying to cut off their fundraising, prevent them from training, and so on?
You see, it is obviously sovereign decision of United States. They have designated TRF. We have no issue. And we welcome if they have any evidence that it is involved. But linking it to the Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, is wrong. That outfit was dismantled years ago by Pakistan. The actors were prosecuted, arrested, jailed, and the entire outfit of LET was destroyed and is no more there. So if it is an independent entity, TRF, and the US authorities have any evidence that they were involved, we have no objection to that. Obviously, it's a sovereign state decision. But surely, I can guarantee you that this TRF has nothing to do with the Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, which has become defunct years ago. I remember when I was finance minister 2013, 17, it was all actions were taken at that time.
Did this come up today in your discussions with Secretary Rubio and the other officials?
Well, because we have not objected to this thing. Surely, this is their sovereign right, and I'm sure they would have substantial evidence. They would not have done it only to please India. India has been dying to do it, but linking it to a defunct, outfit, that is unfair. We are okay. We have no issue at all.
When you met with your American friends today, how would you compare your country's relationship with this administration compared to the previous administration? Would you say that, is there any difference in how that's proceeding?
Having experience around 30 years of this bilateral relationship, I think it's going back to the normal. We had a wonderful relationship in President Clinton's time. I was finance minister. That was the nuclear detonation period, the most difficult one. Very severe sanctions on Pakistan, but despite those sanctions, we negotiated very successfully, very happily with us. Senator Kerry was, in the next round, if you recall. Excellent relationship in President Obama time, when former President Biden was vice president. So we are excellent. In our relationship, we had hikes, highs and lows. I think we have to have come out of this transactional relationship, and it should be strategic, stable, and perpetual. So that's where we are eyeing at. I think we appreciate the efforts of President Trump and, as I said, Secretary Rubio in my brief remarks. They reached out to us. They were constantly in touch with both sides. And so were we. We had proactive diplomacy. And now Indian, even, the fair writers and their media has written that Indian narrative was totally mishandled.
You talked about strengthening the U.S. relationship